안녕하세요. 저는 벤티기 박창근이고요. 오늘부터 이제 두 번째 온라인 교육 시작을 할 텐데요. 그 어제 교육은 제가 레코딩 거는 기본적으로 유튜브에 올려놨어요. 그래서 그거 좀 보셔도 되고, 저희가 이제 이 실제 교육 5일간 한 다음에 이제 전문 스튜디오랑 미팅을 해가지고서 약간 좀 편집을 해서 다시 올려놓을 거거든요. 그럼 이제 그거 참고하셔도 될 것 같고, 그리고 이게 저희가 본사에서 제공하는 정규 교육 과정이 온라인으로 있거든요. 그게 현재 번역을 하고 있고, 그래서 아마 영어 교육인데 밑에 자막을 넣는 형태로 가지고 지금 준비를 하고 있는데, 그게 지금 아마 이번 주 정도면은 번역 작업이 대충 끝날 것 같아요. 그러면 제가 본사에서 연락이 오면 제가 자막 번역한 거 한번 전체 감수하고 나면 아마 지금 이제 2월 말이니까 3월 첫째 주, 빠르면 3월 첫째 주, 늦어도 3월 둘째 주 정도 되면 아마 그거를 또 보실 수도 있을 거예요. 그래서 제가 이제 좀 희망하는 부분은 이제 벤틱 솔루션을 이제 좀 준비하신다고 하시면 이번 교육 지금 참석하시는 거 좀 들으시면서 미리 이제 공유해 드렸던 랩 있잖아요. 그 랩 좀 해보시고 그리고 나서 그 말씀드린 것처럼 본사 이제 온라인 트레이닝에 이제 한글 자막 들어간 거 한번 보시면 아마 이벤트 드리븐 아키텍처에 대해서도 좀 이해를 하시고 그다음에 벤틱의 로코드 기반의 개발 환경에 대해서도 좀 이해를 하시고 해서 아마 좀 더 쉽고 편하게 이 벤틱 솔루션을 사용할 수 있을 거라고 생각을 좀 합니다. 그럼 이제 지금부터 어제와 어제에 이어서 아드리아노가 이제 좀 교육에 대해 설명을 좀 드리고요. 저는 또 끝나 중간중간에 개입해가지고 설명을 좀 한글로 좀 드리든지 하고, 그리고 어제 말씀드린 것처럼 중간에 궁금한 게 있으시면은 말씀하기 좀 불편하시면은 채팅창에다가 채팅해서 질문해 주시면은요. 제가 답변 드릴 수 있는 거는 답변 드리고 아니면은 아드리아노한테 물어봐서 제가 답변을 드리도록 하겠습니다. 아드리아노? Yes, boy. Just one second.
Right, so let's begin the discussion today. So what I have to show you today to start, I think just let me ask, did you do summarization from yesterday?
Yes, please.
No, did you do or okay, all right. So just to do a summary of what we discussed yesterday. So Shangan started explaining to you the idea, the concept behind Vantiq. What is the obstacles that we saw? What is the possibilities that we have with Vantiq? Then we talked about the concepts of events and EDA, event-driven architecture. What are they and how does Vantiq work with it? We discussed about applications and systems. So let me just share my screen. At least you guys will see what I'm seeing. Oops, my bad. I keep clicking on the wrong button. Yeah, now I clicked on the right button. All right, so I'm just looking at the content. So yes, and then we talked about applications and systems. So applications and systems is regarding when you have an application that do a tactical work. So we had, for example, the parking application, the smart parking application, the smart building application, smart lobby application, smart traffic lights, so on and so forth. And together, all these applications, they build up a system that is much more strategic, and they're comprised of tactical applications. We talked about ingesting events. So I showed you topics, I showed you a little bit of sources. We talked about processing events, how Vantiq receive these events from external sources and then start processing them. And we talked about the architecture. Oh, sorry. We talked about the architecture of Vantiq and some of the components that we had discussing about what are sources, what are the what's the name of it? What are the sources? What are the types, what are the projects, so on and so forth. So today we're gonna start talking about the Vantiq IDE. I'm gonna talk about namespace and system order. I think we can cover that in maybe 30 minutes or a little bit more. So instead of slides today, we're gonna go straight to the user interface. So let me get a blank. Let me delete. Yes, demo two. That's my namespace where I can play as I want, and no problem there. So uh, this is the common interface wherever you're gonna start, let's say, playing with Vantiq, or when you start developing with Vantiq. You have the development UI, where you have the name of the project, where you're gonna start building your components. You have the project contents right here on the left. You have a narrows pane on the bottom, and on the type, on the top, you have the save button. So let's say you want to create a new project. You can either come here and create a new project, or let's go back to that one. Or from here, you could just put a new name and say Adriano project, and you can save. So when you save from another one, it asks you if you want to save as new or if you want to rename it. We can save it as new. So now we have a new project. So in this button called projects, we have the project's capabilities to create a new project, manage the existing projects. So you can see it here. In some of them, you'll be able to see these three little dots where you can enable profiling of the project. You can delete it or you can duplicate it. We have the import and export project. So be careful when you're creating one project that whatever is inside this project is what enables you to export everything, including the data, or you can also like do backups or import it from other places. If you're connected to a versioning control system like a GitHub or those are old enough like me, like SourceSafe, not SourceSafe because this SourceSafe wouldn't enable the connection, but something like I think Visual Studio has like online Visual Studio, something like that. So you could connect to any type of version control system. You could sync with this version control system uh, to, from, or just combine them. And down here, you see the projects that you have saved. Then you have the administer button where you can administer your users, namespaces. You can see the audit collections, Grafana to see the let's say operations of your application, how many events arriving, let's say per second in your topic, how many inserts or updates you're doing in a database, how many errors you're seeing in your application, so on and so forth. And in advanced, you'll be able to see also the catalog. We're gonna talk specifically about that maybe tomorrow, I guess. The profiles, so how you can combine some permissions to create profile for users, access tokens, uh, very very used to. Do you want to talk? Oh, okay. Do you want to talk about something? Okay, I'm just gonna finish this administrative talk. So access tokens to create tokens to applications and other systems to integrate and interact with Vantiq. Pending invites, I'm gonna talk also on Friday. When you invite somebody to your namespace or you invite create a new user, you have these invitations being sent from Vantiq, so you'll be able to see it here. Secrets, it's a way to store passwords. So an administrator could come here, create a password secret for password, and then the developers could use those secrets without actually knowing the actual password. And then groups. So you could also create groups to put people inside these groups and then provide different permissions to them. Oh, should I go? Okay. Yeah. So here, tests. Tests is where also on the last day we're going to discuss this. So on tests, you have ability to create tests and test suites to test the procedure, test your project against what you expect to receive and then you expect to produce. Event generators, how you can quickly simulate a system. Captures, You can use these captures to also simulate a system by capturing some data that you're receiving and then ask event generator to produce that same data. It's almost like a record and replay. Autopsies, we're gonna discuss on that on Friday, is as Vantiq is a real-time system, it's really important not to break the code to put like breakpoints. Otherwise, if you put breakpoints in the code, the execution will never be real time, and then you have different outcomes than in the real time. So what we do is we record what happened to your code, and then you can replay what happened to your code later. So that's what we call an autopsy. Errors, logs, and we in the advanced tab we see the collaborations that we discussed Thursday, activity patterns, what are enabled, situations, what I'll talk a little bit about this on Thursday as well. Data generator used to be let's say the previous version of event generators, and the debug configurations, we're going to talk about it Friday. Then on the deployment, it's also when you have the connection between one namespace that you're developing, and then you connect it to let's say production namespace. Then you create the nodes, that's the connection between them. You have the environments where you say which namespaces are from the development, which namespaces are tests, which namespaces are production, so on and so forth. And then you can create deployments. The deployments have the characteristics that you want to bring from this project to your endpoint project. I will show it more also on Friday. Show is a way that you can see some of the components of your project. So you can see the records, you can add a record to a type, you can see which are the catalogs that are connected to this namespace. You can see resource graphs. It used to be a way that we presented project contents in the past. And you can see what are the documents that are stored in Vantiq. By documents, we call it JavaScripts, CSS, video files, image, any type of file that you want to upload to Vantiq to later use in a cloud builder or anywhere else. And add is to add the components that we are going to use all the time in Vantiq. So here you can add an application. We're going to talk about this maybe today. The collaboration, client, service, a system modeler. We're going to talk about it in a bit. Rules, procedures, source, type. We discussed source yesterday. Type of maybe see today, tomorrow. Advanced. You have the analytics source, subscription. That's pretty useful. Topics, and we talked yesterday, and scheduled event. That's something also very handy for you to create some sort of scheduled action from Vantiq. So this is mostly about the IDE interface. Okay, so I'll let Shangan to talk a little bit.
이거를 이제 그 지금 참석하신 분들 중에 그 이전 화면을 보신 분들도 계시거든요. 그러니까 1.29 화면 보시다가 지금 오늘 지금 보시는 화면은 1.3 화면이에요. 그래서 이제 저희가 이제 얘기 들었더니 1년에 이제 메이저 업그레이드는 2번을 한대요. 그래서 버전이 바뀌는 업그레이드 2번 하는데 이제 작년에 이제 저희가 그 개정을 드렸던 분은 1.29 화면을 보셨을 거고 사실 1.29 화면하고 지금 화면하고는 큰 차별점이 뭐냐면 기존 환경은 개발자 환경이랑 관리자 화면이 구분이 좀 되어 있었거든요. 그래서 여기 보면 지금 그 어드미니스트레이터하고 그다음 디플로이 화면 이 메뉴 자체는 사실은 개발자 화면에서는 안 보이고 그 관리자 화면에 들어가야 다시 보이는 화면이었는데 그게 지금 통합이 돼가지고 다 같이 보이는 거고요. 그 중에서 이제 그 어드민 환경에서 사실은 이제 그 메뉴에서 참조할 것들은 이제 관리자들이 대부분 이제 제일 먼저 해야 될 것들이 그 사용자 추가하는 거잖아요. 그래서 그 벤틱에서 이제 그 네임스페이스라고 해서 자기가 사용할 수 있는 공간을 이제 할당을 받게 되면 그 할당된 공간 안에서 내가 이제 사용자들을 추가해야 되는데 그럴 때 이제 이 어드미니스트레이터에서 유저 들어가가지고 이제 기존에 있는 개발자들이나 이제 들어와서 작업하실 분들을 이제 추가하실 수가 있는 거고요. 그러면 이제 그 사용자들이 이제 추가가 되면 이제 인비테이션 레터가 그 추가된 사용자들한테 나가게 되고, 그러면은 이제 그 사람들이 이제 억셉트를 하게 되면 다시 이제 그 사람들이 여기 이제 벤티 화면에 들어와 가지고서 자기의 네임스페이스를 만들어서 이제 뭐 개발을 한다든지 뭔가 실습을 한다든지 그런 것들을 할 수가 있게 되는 거고요. 그리고 그 나머지 아이템들은 아마 이제 여러분들이 실습해 나가시면서 이제 하나하나씩 해보시면 되게 좋을 것 같은데, 이번에 약간 틀려진 건 뭐냐면 그 기존에 이제 그 테스트를 하려면 이제 데이터를 만들어 가지고 그 데이터를 넣어 가지고 이제 테스트를 해보시잖아요. 이제 그럴 때 이제 편리한 게 기존에 이제 데이터 제너레이터라는 게 있었는데, 이번에는 이제 그 이름이 이벤트 제너레이터로 바뀌어 가지고서 되게 다양한 형태의 데이터들을 생성해 가지고서 테스트 환경을 만들 수가 있는 기능이 하나 들어갔고, 두 번째는 그런 이제 그 시뮬레이션 할 수 있는 데이터를 생성하는데 기존에 있는 데이터를 캡처해 가지고서 그걸 기반으로 데이터를 생성해 가지고서 또 테스트할 수 있는 환경도 만들어 주거든요. 그런 게 그 개발 관점에서 좀 그 가상 데이터 만들어 가지고서 뭔가 작업할 때 좀 편리한 기능이라고 생각이 됩니다. 그런 거 아마 계속 이제 수업 진행해 가면서 아마 그때그때 이 친구가 이제 얘기를 해줄 거고, 그러면 제가 또 좀 생각해야 되는 것들 또는 이제 기억하시면 좋을 것들은 더 추가적으로 또 계속해서 말씀을 드리겠습니다. 아니라면.
Uh, so one thing that is important to understand is whatever you create in a project. I'm just gonna create a couple of things. I'm just gonna put this. I don't even know what this does. It's just an application here. So whenever you're adding an application, you start seeing some components here on the left on the project. So this is the project contents so that you can easily, quickly see yourself in the project. We recommend that one namespace that's where we are. So each one of these things here that you see in my screen is a different namespace. So a namespace is the, let's say, the security uh, space limit. How? Let me see how can I put that. Um, I'll check on my on the presentation later. But it's boundary. I remember the name in English. Sorry. The security boundary for your application is a namespace. So anything that you develop in one namespace will not conflict with another namespace. So whatever you're developing here, it could be the same. There you see a type called lookups. This is a table that I have in my system. And whatever I put here, it will be from this namespace. So in this namespace, I cannot have another type called lookups. But in any other namespace, especially in your namespace that you'll be creating the doing the labs, this is gonna be okay for you guys to have each one of you a table called pump ID or anything like that. So this is the logical boundary inside Vantiq. You can, as you can see, these buttons down here, you can minimize a screen, you can maximize the screen, you can close it, you can push it aside. So there's a send to dock. So this dock could be seen on the top or on the right. You can choose how to see it. And in the project itself, you can see in a different way. You can see the three resources by type. That's how it is. By related inputs, by outputs, by name. You can create your own. Let me put it. You could create some of them. You can create some folders. So you could create a folder here to better group them together. Or you can also create views. So in one single application, you can put another, I'm gonna put a view too, and I can say that I want to put application and just one of the topics. So here you will see the application and we see only one of the topics. In the other view, everything is there. So this is a way to group so that instead of changing projects and creating multiple projects, you can have one single project with different components to easily to make it easy for you to understand the work you are doing. So another important aspect of Vantiq is that one namespace, we recommend that one namespace is for one developer. We don't recommend more than one developer working at the same time at the same namespace. Why? Because if you're in this namespace and then uh, another developer that's working with you also goes to that same namespace, so you two are working at that namespace. If one of you, let me go to another one. Oh, I didn't save it. Sorry. Let me save it. Done. As you can see, I just saved the Adriano project in this one, and in this one there's nothing. So let's say that I want to add, instead of the application, let me see if I have any clients. No, I have a type. Okay, I have some types. Let me put 3 types here. So here you can see the types. So now I'm gonna save the project. It's gonna tell me that another user, blah, 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 already saved, and I would be overriding his changes. I will do it. So in this project, I have this, and in this project, I have something else. So to see the changes, I would have to refresh my browser. So if you have like 2 or 3 developers working at the same projects, you will see a lot of weird things happening. Sometimes there's no problem. For example, I worked recently in a project with another developer in England. I think he's in London, and we didn't have any conflict because I was working in one piece of the project, and we created one view for me, and he was working in another piece of the project, and we were not interlapping our projects. I mean, our components. He was developing the interface, I was developing backend. But we don't recommend having more than one developer at the same namespace at the same time. I think that would be important for Changan to translate.
이제 이게 개발 환경이니까 그 우리가 어떻게 사용해야 되는지 이제 논리적인 걸 좀 배우는 거거든요. 그래서 그 벤틱에서 권장하는 거는 이제 좀 전에 아드리아노가 얘기했지만 개발자, 그러니까 하나의 네임스페이스 안에 개발자가 그 한 명 이상 들어가는 거는 권장하지 않는다. 왜냐하면 아까 보신 것처럼 이제 2명이 들어가는 순간 이제 잘못되면 이제 막 꼬이게 되니까 그런 게 한 가지가 있고, 두 번째는 또 여러 가지 몇 가지 권장하는 게 있는데요. 그 네임스페이스 안에는 프로젝트 하나만 만들어라라는 것도 있고, 그다음에 그 우리가 이제 그 어제 제가 잠깐 설명드릴 때 벤틱이라고 하는 게 이제 에자일 환경이나 마이크로 서비스 환경이나 그런 데 되게 유용하다 그랬잖아요. 그래서 네임스페이스 안에는 가능한 이제 조그만 그 기능 하나를 이제 만들 수 있는 그런 것들로 만드는 게 좋고, 그리고 그것도 이제 하나의 프로젝트 안에서 만드는 게 좋고, 그리고 그거는 이제 한 사람한테 할당되는 범위로 하는 게 좋다. 라고 이제 그걸 항상 인지하시고서 전체를 보시면 될 것 같아요. 그래서 아키텍트 하시는 분이 이제 설계를 하실 때 그런 식으로 세분화 시켜가지고서 개발자 한 사람이 자기가 맡은 프로젝트 자기 그것만 할 수 있게끔, 그래서 그 모듈 하나만 만들어 가지고서 그것들을 연계하는 것들은 이게 이제 이벤트 드리븐 아키텍처니까 퍼블리싱하고 그다음 서브스크라이빙 해가지고서 다 연계해 가지고서 작업을 하실 수가 있거든요. 그래서 이제 그걸 항상 그 염두에 두시고 이 벤틱 기반에서 이제 개발을 하시면 좋겠습니다.
So one of the reasons that this might sound weird for you, just having one developer per one namespace or per project, but when you start working with Vantiq, you will understand that this is actually not a problem. One person, one developer in Vantiq can do a lot of work and will do much faster if he's doing it alone, because building things in Vantiq doesn't take months, but rather days. So if you have to have 2 or 3 people working at the same project, it would be much more easier to distribute the tasks and maybe different projects. And the projects then can have a event bus or service bus to talk behind them. Another part of the that I wanted to show you is this. So you have the the search button here that allow you to search for resources in the project. This is very important, and I want you to understand because this will happen eventually, and you don't have to worry about. So in this project here, you can see I don't have my application. I could come here and add my application, and it will come up again. But if I close this window, and if I click here to delete or remove from project, I'm not deleting my application. I'm just removing it from this project. If I come back here and I put app, oh, I forgot the name of the application. I think it's 1P. Yeah, there you go. So my app's here again. I haven't deleted from my project. I mean, from my namespace. I only deleted from my project that is like a view in my project, in my namespace. So if I close it here, and now I come here and say delete app, application, and remove from project, he will ask me, are you sure you want to delete the application? Yes. So now if I try to add this application, it's not here. So now I really delete it from the project. So this hourglass, the search button, can help us look for, let's say, some other components. There are systems, there are hidden components, and I'll talk about this eventually during the train. You have the unseen errors. So you can see all the unseen errors in this button here. This is the resource for help. So you can see what's new with this release. You can see the developer guides. This is really important that you understand where's the developer guide. I use it all the time. I've been with Vantiq for almost 3 years, and I constantly go to this developer guide all the time. Developer resources, you will use it not all the time, but eventually. So when you need to download the CLI, that this is the command line interface. I'm gonna talk about it Thursday or Friday. It is tied to the version of Vantiq, so you probably need to download at least once every new update from the version. And here are some of the SDKs. We're also gonna talk about it Friday. No, not this one, my bad. So this is a button to switch the namespace. This is the button to see your user. Over here, when you click your user, you can see the description of your user, how to change some of your information, and you can copy your user ID. You're gonna need this in the lab. Over here, you have the buttons to adjust the layout. So this is what we call the grid layout. So we have the tile layout, grid layout, and you can say, oh, I want 2 by 2. So all the windows that you open will be stacked like this, or you can switch to the free layout or custom layout. And this way you can put one window big, another one smaller. You can adjust them as you see fit. But we usually rather start with the grid or the tile. This is much more organized. You'll be able to see whenever you close one of the screens, you will be able to see them here on the left. It's much easier, much cleaner. That's and you can close all of them. Show resources, show off resources. There was one piece that I'm looking for. The auto. Where is it? I did change. I don't know where it is. There's a button somewhere. Oh, here, IDE settings. That was what I was looking for. So you can set auto save interval for your project. You can say what is the default for any project that you create. You can use the default project wizard. You will see this for the first time you connect. So on and so forth. There's some other feature properties here that is not really important right now. So this is what I wanted to talk about the IDE. I talked a little bit about the namespace. Let me see if I forgot to say anything. And then I'm gonna start talking about the system modeler. Oops, let me see. Yeah, it opened. Platform, I talked about, okay. So this is quite important. So In this demo here, if I show you my namespace, if I go to administer namespaces and I search for demo to delete, let me see, delete, yeah. So this one, and I see, oh, take a look. My demo to delete here is seen like this. Some other places you'll be able to see it by the display name. My managed, or sorry, my authorized users, in this case, it's only me. If I go to another namespace, so let me put my manufact, yes. If I click here, manage authorizations, you see there's another person. So this is another developer that has the ability to connect there. If I, let me see if I have another one with more. No, usually I don't have many people authorized to my namespaces, but this is how you invite people to your namespace, by manage authorizations and then inviting him by authorizing a user. You can authorize him as a developer or a user or custom, but usually one of these two.
제가 잠깐 부연 설명드리려고 그랬는데, 아까 제가 이제 설명드릴 때 하나의 네임스페이스에서는 하나의 유저 그런 얘기가 했었잖아요. 근데 이제 여기 보면 하나의 네임스페이스에 들어가서 거기서 사용자를 막 추가하잖아요. 이거 이제 잠깐 오해하실 것 같아서 제가 이제 설명드리려고 지금 중간에 들어왔는데, 뭐냐면 그 최초에 발급되는 네임스페이스는 우리가 이제 최상위 루트 네임스페이스라고 보면 될 것 같아요. 거기서 이제 최상위 관리자가 이제 할당이 될 거잖아요. 그럼 그 사람이 이제 거기서 사용자를 추가하게 되는 거고, 그럼 그 사용자들이 이제 아까 말씀 것처럼 이 친구가 이제 초대를 하게 되면 이제 초대장을 받게 되고, 그럼 이제 그걸 이제 억셉 하게 되면 그 네임스페이스에 들어오게 되는데, 그럼 거기서 작업을 하는 게 아니라 거기서 이제 들어온 사용자가 이제 할당받은 사용자가 자기 네임스페이스를 만들어서 이제 그쪽으로 가야 되는 거예요. 그래서 거기서는 이제 자기가 만든 네임스페이스를 가게 되면 이제 그 사람은 그 네임스페이스 안에서는 자기가 이제 주인이 되는 거거든요. 그래서 거기서 이제 자기가 이제 만들어야 될 부분을 만드는 거고, 그래서 최상위 네임스페이스에는 이제 그 사용자들을 관리하고 할당하고 하는 그런 용도로만 쓰는 거고, 실제 이제 개발은 거기서 이제 분기된 다른 네임스페이스들에서 이제 각각의 개발자들이 이제 자기의 이제 역할에 맞게끔 개발을 하면 되는 거예요. 예, 그거 잠깐 부연 설명드리고, 혹시 이제 아까 그 네임스페이스당 한 사람만 해당된다고 했는데 여러 명이 지금 막 초대하게 되면은 거기에 여러 명이 추가되니까 뭐 어떻게 된 건가 약간 오해하실 것 같아서 이제 약간 설명을 드렸던 거고요. 그래서 기억하셔야 될 거는 루트 네임스페이스에서는 이제 사용자들만 들어가는 거지 거기다가 개발 환경을 만들거나 하면 안 된다. 그래서 항상 이제 최초 초대받은 사람이 거기에 이제 로그인해가지고서 자기가 이제 여러 명을 초대한 다음에 그 초대받은 사람들은 또 다른 네임스페이스를 만들어서 거기 가서 개발해야 된다. 그렇게 이해하시면 될 것 같습니다.
So I didn't show actually a root namespace, but let me show you one example here. Let me put this drop down. So for example, over here, so this is a dev, is a server farm with development purposes that we have, and this is a shared resources environment. So Vantiq is a multi-tenant environment. So here I have some of my partners in, especially in Latam or in the United States. These are the ones that I created or asked to be created. So for example, I'm gonna select, yeah, I'm gonna select like this one, Excel. So in the root namespace, here's the wizard that I talked before. I don't want to do anything. So in the root, we don't do anything. There's no projects here. There's nothing here. The root namespace just is used for us to create new namespaces on top of it, and then you create it as a development namespace. If you create it as a namespace administration, it's not that you are the namespace admin. It's the purpose of that namespace. So we should always create as a developer. You will be able to create new namespaces, sometimes in your own root, and always create as a namespace admin. If you create as a, sorry, my bad. always create as a developer. If you create as a namespace admin, it will have some limitations because it's not made for development. Okay. Let me see. This is the namespaces. Let me see what else. Okay, so in your root namespaces, you can create new users. You can, as you can see here, I have several users I created here. These were especially for demo purposes. So these users, they can be invited into the namespaces, and they can be home, or they are home in this root here. If I were to invite them from another namespace, for example, if I were here in Adrig Xtel POC, and I invited users from this namespace, and I delete this namespace, I would delete the user as well. So the user would be deleted. That's why we have one root. We put all the users in this one root, and then we create sub namespaces, or just namespaces. We don't actually call sub namespaces. We just create these other namespaces, and then we invite users to this namespace. This way, you don't have the risk of deleting it. Let me see. Users, namespace, types. I showed you create namespace. Yeah, you do that in the lab, so it's okay. And now let's talk about the system modeler. Okay. Just a second. I think he left the microphone open. Okay, cool. So do you want to translate anything, or we're good? Okay. So now we're going to start talking about one component that I really like in Vantiq. That's the system modeler. So whenever we start discussing with the customer about the system requirements or the application requirement, we start building an application, or we start building the scope of the application, use the system modeler. So we click here in system modeler. We create a new system modeler. I'm gonna put like a new training model. And then you have the system modeler. The system modeler is basically a whiteboard or a canvas where you have the virtual post-its, and you just drag them to the canvas to arrange them in the way that makes sense for the application. So you may have as many as you want. There's no limitations, but some post-its or some types of components, for example, the events. The events I can connect to a reaction, but I cannot connect it to a command. I can connect to an issue or a source. These are external system. These are the possible connections. For example, an event, oh, I forgot to say, cannot connect to another event, but a reaction, it can connect to an issue, can connect to a reaction, can generate an event, but cannot connect to a command or an external system. The command, a command is actually, it's like HTML screen. So you can imagine it by HTML screen, and it cannot connect to anything but issue or an event, because that's what it's generating. And just to be clear, the issue is not actually a problem. It's just a description of what each one of these components are. So issues can connect to anything. Okay. And you may also have the context. The context is where you're gonna group. That's how you're gonna group these posts logically. Again, not always you're gonna have all of them. Not always you're gonna. Let me just undo them. Not always you're gonna need to bring them all. Not always you're gonna have like just one. You may have like 2, 3, 10. It will all depend on your application.
Can you zoom the
Yeah. So I'm gonna build something for you guys as an example. And after I create this, I'm gonna let Shangan talk a little bit. So let's say that I'm creating an application that is my bad. So let's say I go talk to a operations manager in a factory, and this operations manager in a factory will tell me, for example, that he knows that in his factory he has like these equipments. These 5 equipments of his provide temperature and RPMS information. Temperature every 9 seconds, RPMS every 5 seconds. And he knows that if the temperature and the RPMS are too high over 5 minutes, his application or his rotor may fail, may break. So he needs to find somebody to either fix or shut down the application in up to 5 minutes. So how could we structure these discussions? So I could come here and I could say that, for example, he said he has like temperature. I can put here. As you can see, these are all text boxes. So I can put a temperature, I can put RPMS, and he told me that whenever these temperature or RPMS are too high, he may have a problem. So let's put a reaction to the temperature and to the RPMS. So, and I'm gonna use the issue to describe what he said. So he said that if the temperature and RPMS are too high, we could have a reaction. What is this reaction? Is danger. We're gonna have a danger situation. So in this danger situation, what is the reaction that he's looking for? He's looking that the system will find somebody close to fix or shut down the machine. So the first thing that we need is to find the closest, let's say, technician to fix the machine. The name is gonna, let's put the closest technician, and then I'm gonna put the fixed machine. Otherwise, it's gonna be too long here. And you can see there's a little I because there's to fix the machine. So after I find this closest technician, what can I do? He said, if he has 5 minutes to fix the machine. So let me track him down, not track him down, let me track him to see where he is and calculate how long it's gonna take to get there. So let's say track technician. We could also notify this technician that he has to come and fix the machine. So we click here, notify technician to fix machine. And after we track this technician, we can calculate how long he's gonna be. So calculate how long it will take for him to get there. So now we have 2 options. We can keep tracking him to see, let's say that my calculation says that, oh, he's gonna take 4 minutes to arrive. Okay, so I keep tracking him. And if he doesn't arrive in up to 5 minutes, I'll put another reaction. If doesn't arrive in 5 minutes, then I do an auto shutdown. Let's put a auto shutdown. And if I calculate and I see that it's more than 5 minutes, I can also create an auto shutdown. And if I do an auto shutdown, let's notify the manager. So notify manager about auto shut down. Okay, so with these, all these components, I can come back to the operations manager, or I actually I should do this while I'm talking with the operations manager, and he can tell me, oh, that's perfect. Oh no, I don't need to notify the technician, or you know what, I don't need to calculate. Just track if the guy will arrive in up to 5 minutes. If he doesn't arrive, auto shut down. So I can say, okay, so let me delete this component. Is that correct? Oh, that's good. So now in system modeler, I can change from model to generate. So in the generate, I have some other components. I didn't use context because now I'm only talking about one let's say application. If I had in this scenario here more than one application, so let's say that I had like several applications, I could create the context and put these guys all over that context. But in my scenario here, I don't need that. Oops. Let me zoom in, much better. So now I can create a group. A group is actually a project or an application. So I'm gonna call it my demo app. And when I click here, okay, it creates this group for me, and I can start putting these components inside this demo. Sorry, this a demo app. And I can say, okay, add to group. Now they're all highlight. They're all lit, no, light up. I don't know how to say that. So now I can start to specify my components. So my temperature is actually one of my choice. I could say, as you can see here, these events are ingesting events. So I can say that it's coming from a source, an external source. I can say that's being stored in a type. I can say it's coming from a topic. In my example here, it is coming from a topic. So I'm gonna say it's coming from stream temp. And I can tell my system that it has a temp schema. I'm gonna talk about schemas in a second. Uh, the RPMS also is also coming from another topic, and it has coming from topic stream slash RPMS, and I can say it has a schema, RPMS schema. These schemas I'm gonna show you, it's very useful for developing the application, but it's not a constraint for Vantiq. Okay, so the danger situation. In the danger situation, I can come here and say this is a application task because I'm only talking about the, let's say it's still talking about transforming the events that are arriving. So I can come here. I can now select one of the many application tasks available from Vantiq. I could say it's a filter. I could say it's a threshold, or I could say in this example here, it's a dwell. So the dwell will allow me to, I'm gonna talk in details about that tomorrow. It will allow me to filter out which are the events that I want to see happening or I want to see true and put that in a time window. So it has to happen during an X amount of time. So I'm gonna keep it dwell. Find the closest technician. Now, when I'm talking technician, notify technician, track, if he doesn't arrive or he or she, auto shut down, notify manager. This is all related to people. So when I say find the closest technician, now I'm talking about a collaboration between human and machine. So here in the task, I'm gonna say find the closest technician. I'm gonna ask Vantiq to do a recommendation. Recommend me who is the closest technician. In the notify technician, it's also another collaboration, and I'm gonna ask Vantiq to do a collaboration and to do a notification, notify the technician for me. As the notify manager, the same thing. Let's go straight to it. Notification, okay. Track technician, another collaboration. And I'm gonna put location track. If it doesn't arrive in 5 minutes, I'm actually tracking him, but now in time. So it's still a collaboration, but now it's escalation. I'm gonna escalate to another task if it doesn't fulfill that in 5 minutes. The auto shutdown, this one is, let's say, tricky. I could use an application task. I could say I'm connecting to a PLC and I want to execute a task, do a procedure. Or I could also do a collaboration.
회사별로 이걸 계약을 다시 하는 게 아니라 EA 계약은 하나가 있고 그 밑에
And I could execute a procedure. I execute a command external. So just an execution, like execute command. So now that I have my model ready, let me just save. There's a button here, green button called generate. So what I can do now is click this button called generate, and you see Vantiq generating the application for me. So I'm just gonna show you the application, and I'm gonna, what is the my demo app. So here you can see that Vantiq pre-generated an application for me. Let me just put it a little bit bigger. Also generated a collaboration for me and prepared some of the topics. It's connected here. It's still showing some of these components in red because it's missing, in this example here, it's missing a condition. In this example here, it's missing some more parameters. Just to show this working a little bit, I'm gonna say that it's missing what does it mean that the temperature and RPMs are too high? In this example here, in this well, I'm gonna say that the temperature in Celsius has to be over, let's say, 200 degrees, and the RPMs has to be over 4250. And that has to remain true for over a period, let's say, of 15 seconds. So over 15 seconds, if during these 15 seconds, my situation has happened, it will take a note of that, like it will think about it. And if nothing happens that will clear this situation, it will generate an alert that is going to be it will find the closest technician. But if it returns to the, let's say, normal status, it will not generate. Even, let's say, after 10 seconds, it's back to regular RPMs or regular temperature. Nothing will be triggered. It's a lot used to avoid false positives. Okay. I will get in more details on Thursday on collaboration. This guy will, I think it's the next topic. So this is what I wanted to show about System Modeler. So System Modeler we use a lot to demonstrate. I didn't even, sorry, I forgot to put oh no, I did call it new training model. I thought forgot about it. But this is really useful to take note on the requirements of your project. So this is also a good way for you to document your project. In Vantiq, things move so fast and it's so easy to change or to create new components that you could have somebody capturing data from your customers, creating the system modelers while you are working on one of the components. So after these pieces is agreed by the customer, then you can start working in these models here, and let's say the BDM or project manager or somebody, he could go on and create new system modeler for new components of your system.
이제 어제 제가 설명 잠깐 드릴 때 벤틱이라고 하는 게 이제 에자일 환경에 되게 잘 최적화되어 있고, 그다음에 CI/CD 환경을 잘 지원하고 있고, 그다음에 마이크로소프트 기반으로 뭔가 할 때 되게 편하다, 그런 얘기 잠깐 말씀드렸었는데, 이제 시스템 모델러가 우리가 이제 일반적으로 이제 분석 설계할 때 쓰는 화면이라고 생각하시면 되게 접근하기가 편하실 것 같아요. 그래서 내가 만들어야 되는 이제 조그만 모듈이나 또는 이제 마이크로 서비스가 있을 때 그것들을 이제 어떤 식으로 설계할지를 이제 여기다가 갖다 놓고 드래곤 드롭을 정의하는 거죠. 그래서 거기에 대해서 여기 이제 아까 그 아디라노가 할 때는 처음에는 이제 데이터가 두 개가 이제 내가 관리해야 되는 항목 두 가지가 이제 데이터가 이제 이벤트 기반으로 들어온 데이터가 두 개를 정의하고 그다음에 그게 어떤 조건이 됐을 때 어떤 식으로 흘러가야 되는지에 대해서 또 계속 이제 분기해가지고 나가면서 이제 설계를 했잖아요. 그리고 거기에 이제 각각에 대해서 좀 세밀적으로 이제 정의를 한 다음에 제네레이터를 시키니까 실제 이제 그 설계한 환경 기반으로 해서 간단하게 이제 어플리케이션이 빌드되는 게 보여진 거고, 근데 그 어플리케이션 자체는 사실은 이제 모든 것들에 대한 조건이 아주 세부적으로 다 들어가 있는 게 아니니까 어플리케이션은 뭔데 다 모든 환경에 대해서 정의를 해야지 이제 이게 돌아가잖아요. 그러니까 아까 이제 보신 것처럼 이제 그 좀 데피니션이 좀 부족한 부분에 대해서는 이제 빨갛게 나오고 거기에 이제 내가 부족한 이제 정보들을 더 이제 요건들을 더 넣게 되면 이제 하나의 간단한 이제 앱이 만들어지는 거죠. 이게 이제 시스템 모델러가 이제 이 친구가 아까 얘기할 때는 그 업무를 알고 있는 이제 사람하고 얘기할 때 되게 좋은 도구고, 또는 이제 그 분석 설계할 때 다큐멘테이션을 따로 하는 게 아니라 이 베티간에서 이제 정의해 놓는 이 시스템 모델을 활용하면 되게 좋다. 그리고 이 잘 만들어진, 잘 설계되어 있는 이 시스템 모델러 다이어그램이 실제 어플리케이션을 만드는데도 굉장히 도와준다. 왜냐하면 사실 이런 게 없으면은 그 모델 그 앱을 설계할 때 내가 다 하나하나씩 다 그 정의해가면서 따로따로 만들어야 되는데, 설계 자체를 좀 잘 만들어 놓으면 사실 여기서 빌드되는 제네레이트 되는 기본 그 어플리케이션 툴 자체가 꽤 완벽하게 만들어지거든요. 그러면 내가 좀 더 빠르게 이제 어플리케이션을 개발할 수가 있게 되는 거죠.
Okay, so let's see what's next. Oops, not here. Up. So now we're gonna start talking about the event-derived applications. Um, okay, so this is just a highlight of what we're going to talk. Let me just open this. It's not like a 2 or 3 slides. So event-derived applications, they're typically one that take one or more system events, enrich, join, transform them, and then it will send that information outside. So this is one of the things that you're going to create in your lab. This is also described very well in the documentation. So here in our example and in your lab, you'll see a temperature event, a pressure event. You're going to receive it, and you will receive it from an external source. You're going to transform this information, and you're going to publish this to the event catalog. So I'm going to talk about the event catalog, how do we use it, and you'll be able to understand a little bit better in your environment. So let me come back here. I'm going to open a new tab. I'll show you something here. So let me put in the manufacturer again. So here you can see that I have, for example, temperature and RPMS events arriving. The catalog, let me just grab the application for catalog. I think it's important to show. The catalog is a nice concept that we can build with Vantiq that allows us to, don't worry about this part, it's been changed. So within Vantiq, let me put it bigger. Within Vantiq, you have the capability of creating some transformation on the events that you're arriving and augment it, like transform it, and then republish it to a catalog that allows other people to find these events and subscribe to these events. Whenever a namespace subscribe to the publisher, the catalog gets out of that, doesn't stay between them. So let me just show here. So this is how the architecture in Vantiq works. This may be something that you will want to translate, but so we have the event catalog as a broker, not of the event, but of the knowledge of the event, where a publisher can register itself and then a subscriber can subscribe it. So whenever somebody connects to the catalog to publish or to subscribe an event, it's actually creating a direct connection to the subscriber, from the publisher to the subscriber. And then the catalog is not a single point of failure. Yeah.
그 이제 간단하게 설명드리면 그 이제 우리가 이 벤틱이 아니라 모든 환경에서 내가 뭔가 자원이 필요하면 그게 어딘지 모르면 누구한테 물어봐야 되잖아요. 그렇죠? 그러면은 내가 뭘 가졌는지 정보를 등록하잖아요. 그게 이제 옛날에 이제 디렉토리 서비스라고 하는 게 사실 그런 비슷한 컨셉인데, 디렉토리 서비스라는 게 기업 내에 다양한 자원이 존재하고 그 자원이 필요할 때 갖다 쓰기 위해서는 기본적인 자원들이 이제 디렉토리 서비스에 내가 누구고 내가 뭘 제공하는지를 등록하게 되고, 그러면 이제 그 다음부터는 필요한 애가 디렉토리 서비스한테 내가 뭐가 필요한데 어디 있어라고 물어보면 이제 디렉토리 서비스가 알려줘가지고서 그걸 쓰게 되거든요. 사실은 이제 이벤트 기반의 아키텍처에서도 똑같은 게 필요해요. 왜냐하면 그 말씀드린 것처럼 이벤트 기반의 아키텍처에서는 누군가는 서비스를 제공하는 퍼블리셔가 되는 거고, 누군가는 그런 서비스를 제공받는 서브스크라이버가 되는 건데, 그러면 누군가가 그 정보를 알려주지 않으면 누구한테 누가 뭘 주는지를 모르고 내가 누구한테 가서 받아야 되는지를 모르잖아요. 그래서 이제 나온 컨셉이 그 카탈로그나 이벤트 브로커가 이제 그런 역할을 하는 거예요. 그런데 이제 차이는 뭐냐면, 그 저희는 이제 메시 형태를 쓴다고 그랬거든요. 메시 형태라는 건 뭐냐면, 이런 이제 이벤트 브로커 기반의 아키텍처가 되면은 문제점이 뭐냐면, 하나의 이벤트 브로커가 존재를 하고 기업에 걔한테 모든 정보를 등록하고 쓰게 되면 걔가 부하가 생겨버리면 사실은 응답이 늦어질 수도 있고, 또 다른 문제는 걔가 죽어버리면 못 찾아가는 그런 문제가 될 수도 있거든요. 그래서 벤틱 같은 경우에는 메시 구조를 좀 이제 가지고 있는데, 어떤 식이냐면 우리가 이제 대학교 때 소개팅을 하잖아요. 그러면 처음에는 소개팅 하면은 주선자하고 같이만 하잖아요. 그렇죠? 그런데 두 번째부터는 주선자 없이 그냥 마음에 들면은 내가 그냥 연락하잖아요. 이 벤틱도 그런 구조거든요. 최초에 이제 설계할 때 이제 만들 때는, 개발할 때는 퍼블리셔하고 서브스크라이버가 이제 등록을 하잖아요. 그렇죠? 하지만 실제 이제 이게 빌드가 돼서 돌아갈 때는 이미 그 정보를 이제 퍼블리셔나 서브스크라이버가 다 알고 있기 때문에 그 다음부터는 이 이벤트 브로커나 카탈로그한테 물어보는 게 아니라 지가 바로 가요. 지금 이제 아까 아드리아노가 했던 얘기가 지금 제가 설명드렸던 내용을 이제 얘기한 거고요. 그렇게 이제 이해하시면 될 것 같아요. 그래서 기본적으로 이런 EDA 아키텍처를 가지고 있는 그 구조에서는 이제 무조건 이벤트 브로커라는 게 필요하고, 그 이벤트 브로커에는 이제 표준적으로는 서브스크라이버하고 퍼블리셔에 대한 정보를 가지고 있지만, 어플리케이션을 만드는 이제 벤더 쪽으로 넘어가게 되면은 그 외에 비과적으로도 필요한 것들을 다 이제 카탈로그에 이제 등록하게 되는 거고요. 그런 다음에는 이제 아까 말씀한 것처럼 이제 벤틱 같은 경우에는 그렇게 필요한 정보들이 다 등록되고 나면은 그 이후에는 사실은 다시 또 카탈로그한테 물어봐서 가는 게 아니라 지가 이미 그 정보를 알고 있기 때문에 다이렉트로 이제 걔한테 가는 형태다라고 이해하시면 될 것 같습니다.
Okay. I will show you. I will show you a little bit of how do we have the event catalog. How do we show you what is the event catalog, how to see it, how to connect it. It has changed a little bit. You're gonna do that in your labs. You're gonna create a event catalog. I'm gonna show you so you can have a better familiarity with it. So in your labs, one of the things that you guys are going to do is that you're gonna, let me create this. I'm gonna create here, and you're gonna create a namespace. I'm gonna create one namespace for me called Adrig catalog, and then I'm gonna create, no, I don't want to create it. Save. So in this catalog namespace, no. What? Yeah, Adrig catalog. Yeah, now it's saved. Anyway, so in this catalog namespace, I'm gonna create a token. As I said, it's a way for you to provide access to applications and other systems. So here I'm gonna say cat token. I'm gonna put 100 years of expiration date, and I'm gonna save it. So now just click on top of it, and you're gonna copy it. So now I'm gonna connect this namespace. So show catalogs. I already have some other catalogs, don't worry. I'm gonna connect it to this catalog here. So I'll put the token and the URL. The URL for Vantiq is just the name of internal.vantiq.com. It's just the, let's say, the name of the server farm. When we have this, Vantiq, based on the catalog, sorry, based on the token, Vantiq will also understand to which namespace you're connecting to. So now I have connected myself to the Adrig catalog. And in this other one, I'm also gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna connect this to that catalog. So I'm gonna put the same token, and I'm gonna put the same URL. So now I can see what are the event types for services that are being published into that catalog. Event types, let me show you from here. I have nothing in this catalog. I have no applications. I have absolutely nothing. If I click in the search button and click enter with the blank filter, I can see everything that's created. There's nothing hidden, and just the system components. So now when I come into my first namespace and I click here and put publish to catalog, I can say I want to publish it to this catalog, the Adrig catalog in internal, and I can create a new event. What's the new event that I want to create? I'm gonna put the in the catalog here, Adrig catalog. I'm gonna say it's slash just slash RPMS, and the RPMS of the pump. And I have to use a schema. This is, in this case, it's obligatory. Why? Because otherwise people will actually won't know what is what I'm publishing. So it's just more information that I can publish here. So I hit OK. It will open me a screen to put some keywords. So it saw RPMS pump. I can say it's from factory. It could be put like factory 01, or I can put my training. So any type of keyword that I want. It's like a tag. Oops. Ah. How lucky. Ah. It was published anyway. Maybe a connection issue here. So I can see if I put, for example, show which are the subscribed events. I could see there's no subscribed events. Show published. No, nobody else has published anything to this catalog. Just me. I am the one publishing this event. I hit OK. Come on. Let me see here. Show catalogs. Refresh. Maybe I chose one catalog that has some issues. Let me see that let me delete, not a catalog, a namespace. Let me just delete this. Okay. Let me put it again. Delete. Create again. The catalog. HTTPS internal. Connect. I think connected. Refresh. There go the schema. Let me see. Why am I not publishing? Publish to catalog. Publish here. Okay. How crazy is that? go figure. Let me just disable this. Let me see if it's. Oh, I know what I missed. So I connected. Sorry, my bad. I forgot the most important part to create the catalog itself. So here, there's advanced catalog, and now I can create a catalog. I forgot the most important part to create a catalog itself. Now I have the connection with the demo to delete, and I have the connection to a drink manufacturer. Though, and yeah, even have like create token. So now I can see my catalog here. I can see the RPMS. So it's not a, and now I can publish it to the catalog. I can click here. Okay. Now it's there. So I'm gonna do the same thing with the temperature, publish to catalog. I'm gonna create a new event, call it /temp, temp of my factory. I'm gonna publish to the catalog, temp factory, let's say factory 01. I can put whatever I want. Okay, okay. So now it's also publishing to the catalog. If I refresh it here, I can see both events. And if I come here, refresh, I can also see my RPMS and temperature. So now these guys, they're not doing anything. You see, they're not arriving. There's nothing there. I can come here instead of using that local topics. I can click in the catalog and I can choose the RPMS and say, hey, I wanted to call it locally local/RPMS. Okay. Let's subscribe to it. Yeah, I want to subscribe. Oh. Let me refresh this. Read catalog. Let's subscribe to the temperature. Oh, come on. Anyway, you're gonna see that in your lab. Don't worry. You're gonna do that in your lab. And something else that we can publish are also services. So in this case here, let me show you. I'm gonna create a procedure. Let's say that this procedure, it's called calculate. And what if I send an integer, calculate, let's say calculate bonus, it's a cool thing. So calculate bonus, you put an integer and it will do some weird math. Let's say it's gonna be integer, no, let's say var result equals integer times 1.2. So 20%, whatever you put there. Return result. Save. So if I want to create a service and publish it to the catalog, I could come here, create a service, add new service to the project, to the catalog, so on and so forth. Or I can just come here and say bonus dot calculate bonus. Save. So rename. It will now create a bonus service for me. You can see here. And I can publish it to the catalog. So now that I have published it to the catalog, you'll be able to see this here. So in services, you see bonus here, the events types. And in the other namespaces, I'll be able to see the RPMSs, our temperature, and also the service. And I can subscribe to this service. So now here I have the bonus, I have the procedure, calculate. If I had any schemas, I would also see it. I have the connection with the catalog. If there's a change in my procedure here, I can update it to the catalog. I think for my luck today, I'm not even gonna try it, but it should work. Like if I change it here and save, this will highlight, and I pre-published it to the catalog, and then over here the person would hit update again. My luck today is not allowing me to do this. So let me, okay, so let me show you. So if I send here, I can run this service. So I can come here. Why is it like this? I have subscribed. I can add the procedure. Bonus, calculate bonus. Here's my procedure. I don't actually have, it's a little bit complicated because I don't actually have the procedure. What I'm doing is I'm calling this procedure from the other namespace, so process by, and you're gonna see later, I think tomorrow. And now I can have the result. So if I execute it and I have the same integer as an input, I'm gonna say 1000, and I execute it. My luck didn't allow me to correctly run it. Let me see here. Here, it's like one. Oh, did I put it as an? Oh, I think I when I demoed as a string. My bad. So it was my stupidity here. So execute. Yeah. So it is actually working. So how do we avoid this? So one way is to put like the integer as a requirement. Let me put like number. Instead of integers, let me put as number. I have to, oh yeah, number, copy, number. Now it will work. So let me remove this. Let me remove it from here also. It's currently delete. Yes. Refresh it. All right, so I had to delete it already. Let me refresh it. Okay, so delete it. So let me republish it. Yes. Okay. So now it's here in my catalog, and it's here to be subscribed. Okay. So no, cancel. It's already subscribed. So procedure, bonus, integer. Oh, it's still the old one. I should have bonus. Let me unsubscribe and resubscribe. Bonus, procedures, calculate bonus, view. Okay, so now it says it's an integer. Okay, calculate bonus, execute. So you see, it only allows me to put a number. So there's no more spaces for mistake. So this is what the catalog is for. But just to explain a little bit better, it might be a little bit confusing, especially at this phase that you're just seeing Vantiq for the first time. But what Vantiq did, this Vantiq catalog here, it is creating a connection between the, let's say, the destination or the subscriber namespace with the publisher namespace. So the connection is direct. It doesn't go through the catalog. The catalog here is just a broker between the information. So the broker can see, in the broker, we can see who are the subscriber and who are the publishers. So I can, in this case, I don't have any ledgers, but here I can see the graphs. I can create a graph. I can see who is the publisher. So it's coming from EN manufacturer. Who is the subscriber? So this Vantiq demo to delete is subscribing to the catalog. Let me see. Let me see what else I can I can talk about. So event manager ledger is the one that creates a, let's say, a copy. I can create, for example, this is something that I don't personally recommend, but that you can do. And in the training, online training, you can see it as well. We've done this. Done this. You're gonna do this. Keywords, tags, show graph. You're gonna see there's a different ways to subscribe. One thing that you can do in the catalog namespace is that you can create an app to store all the events. So I'm gonna put let's say RPMS. I'm gonna configure it to a topic. I'm gonna say it's coming from the catalog. RPMS, local RPMS. And it already brought the schema. And here I can add a new task called ledger. Ledger. I forgot the name. Record event. So here record. So you see record an event in the event ledger. Record event. So everything that now happens here, let me just save it. There's what is the catalog? Here's the catalog. What's the event name? RPMS. I want to record everything in the, oops, I forgot the name of the app. Ledger. Save. So everything that comes through these topic is gonna be recorded at the ledger. So if I come here and I click, not the bonus, sorry. If I come here and click view ledger, I can see all the events that pass through it. So I've been 25 events. If I refresh it, now it's 30. So you can see it's 5 per page. So 35, now it's 7 pages, so on and so forth. But if I disable this application, it's not recording anymore. So yeah, so we have 40, 40, 40, and you can see that it doesn't increase anymore because I stopped this application from recording. It's not automatic recording. It's not going to record everything. It's just when you decide to record. And you can even put some filters here if you wanted to. Oh, I just want to record if it's coming from, what is filter here? I just want to record if it's coming from, let's say, pump ID or RPMS sensor, RPMS sensor 1. So instead of recording everything, I just want, oops. Oh, it's a string. I forgot to put it as a string. So this is another good thing you're gonna see from Vantiq. You don't have to wait like 10 minutes or 10 hours to see that you committed an error. So every time that we receive here, we're gonna just store one event. So here in my catalog, these are the big. Let me see. Yeah. So these are just the ones that I'm storing. So now I have 5. I only have like RPMS 1 in the first page. But again, if I stop recording, it will stop recording. This is what let me see if there's more to talk about event, the catalog, topic, subscribing. I showed you this, I showed you this, subscribe and subscribe, event ledger, and there are more things later. Do you want to talk? Okay.
내용을 너무 많이 내가지고 제가 다 기억을 못해서 설명을 좀 드릴지 모르겠는데 프롬
Okay.
아,
thought you were making fun of me.
그 제가 볼 때 제일 중요한 거는 그 이제 카탈로그라고 하는 게 이벤트 드리븐 아키텍처에서 얼마나 중요한지는 이해하셨잖아요. 왜냐하면 조그맣게 이제 각각의 모듈별로 개발자들이 개발하면 자기가 이제 만드는 것들을 이제 외부에다 노출시켜 가지고서 정보를 줘야 또 다른 사람은 또 그 정보를 받아 가지고서 내가 또 다른 걸 뭔가 해 가지고서 또 자기가 또 소비해 가지고서 뭔가를 또 만들거나 또 제공해 주거나 그런 걸 하니까 그래서 이제 그러기 위해서 이제 그 이벤트 카탈로그라고 하는 게 필요한 거고 그것도 결국은 아까 이제 그 데모 환경에서 잠깐 보셨지만 하나의 네임스페이스에 그 이벤트 카탈로그를 만들어서 그 네임스페이스는 카탈로그용 네임스페이스로 두는 게 맞다라고 이제 벤틱은 얘기를 하고 있고요. 그 다음에 아까 그 잘 안 됐잖아요. 이 친구 처음에 할 때 그 이거 까먹은 게 네임스페이스 하나 만들어 가지고서 거기다가 이제 카탈로그 한 다음에 그거를 이제 퍼블리시를 해줘야 내가 카탈로그야라고 정의를 해줘야 그 다음부터 이제 걔가 카탈로그로 등장을 하는데 그걸 잠깐 빠뜨렸더니 이제 안 된 거잖아요. 그건 아마 그 제가 나눠드렸던 랩 실습하시면은 거기에 그 스텝 바이 스텝으로 카탈로그를 어떻게 생성하는지 나오거든요. 그래서 그것대로 그대로 따라 하시면 되고 그 다음부터 한 거는 사실은 그 카탈로그에 이제 다양한 아이템들을 등록하는 걸 보여줬잖아요. 그렇죠? 그래서 타입이나 토픽이나 앱 같은 것들 또 여러 가지들을 이제 내가 어쨌든 필요한 리소스들을 내가 제공하고자 하는 리소스들을 이제 다른 데다가 이제 제공하고 싶을 때는 퍼블리싱을 시키고 그 다음에 필요한 게 있을 때는 서브스크라이브를 해가지고서 내가 받아오고 그래서 퍼블리싱을 하니까 그 다음부터는 이제 항목에서 쭉 리스트업이 되잖아요. 퍼블리싱 아이템들이 그 중에서 내가 필요한 것들을 이제 서브스크라이버에 가져와 가지고서 사용하게 되는 그런 구조를 가졌다라고 이해하시면 될 것 같고 그 다음에 저는 또 하나 약간 이제 좀 미닝풀하게 보였던 건 뭐냐면 의미 있게 보였던 건 뭐냐면 사실은 아까 얘가 이 친구가 하면서 잘 안 돼가지고서 뭔가 수정하고서 업데이트를 쳤잖아요. 근데 그런 업데이트한 항목들이 바로바로 실시간으로 반영이 됐잖아요. 이게 되게 큰 의미를 가진 게 뭐냐면 실제 어플리케이션에서 이렇게 마이크로소프트 상태로 이제 루즈리 커플이 돼가지고 동작하고 있는 상황에서 뭔가 변경이 발생해야 되는 이제 변경이 발생해야 되는 상황이 됐을 때 사실은 그게 이제 서비스에 지장을 주지 않고 그대로 이제 업데이트를 치면 바로 리얼타임으로 그 업데이트한 내용들이 반영돼 가지고 서비스가 계속 이어갈 수가 있으니까 그런 관점에서 되게 좀 이런 루즈 커플드 된 마이크로 서비스 환경이 좀 좋다라고 하는 걸 좀 보여준 화면이 아닌가 아까 잘 안 돼가지고 업데이트했던 내용들이 그런 걸 좀 보여주는 게 아닐까 싶습니다.
So this is what we had for the catalog. So let me close here. Now let me open a new one. I think it's gonna be faster. Schema. I'm gonna talk about schema types. Actually, I'm gonna talk about types, and then sources. So types. Let me get back to the demo to delete. So you saw me using schema types to define the RPMS in here and the temperature when I was creating this. And schema types, many of you who have worked with XML maybe understand what is a schema. So it's definition of the structure. So here we can create a type and say it's a schema. So let's put like a demo schema, and say it's a schema type. So it defines the schema for events. But just so to be clear, it does not store data. It's just to see the data. So here I will say, what are the properties? I will say that this demo schema, it has, I'm gonna say an ID, it's coming as a string. I'm gonna say it has a date, it's gonna come as a date time. I'm gonna say it has a number. It's an integer. I'm gonna say another number. Another number. It's gonna be real. Okay, real. Put it a little bit better. I could have location. Location. It's a GeoJSON. I could have currency. Or let's put value. And here I'm gonna put a currency. And I'm gonna say it's a 2 decimal points. And let me see if there's any. Oh, these are good. So I'm gonna put an object, and I'm gonna put a reference to another object. So I'm gonna put a type. Let's put a equipo. It's a reference to another type. I'm gonna say it's coming from equipo, from equipment. Okay. So now I have this schema. So when I put this schema here, I can reference. So let me create a topic for you guys to see. I'm gonna create a topic. I'm gonna call it yeah, my topic is okay. My topic. I'm gonna say I'm gonna use this what is the name that I called? Demo schema. I forgot. But we cancel here. Ah, demo schema. Yeah, let me copy. Now I don't forget it anymore. Not type. Sorry. Topic. Topic. Advanced topic. New topic. My topic. Demo 1. Demo schema is better. Demo schema. Okay. I forgot. Demo schema. Okay. So now, as I attached this type of message, he brings to me the type of schema that I put. So as you can see here, let me just minimize this one. So you can see there's another number that's a real, the date, that's a date time type of parameter. The equipment, that's a typed event, a typed property. ID, location, it's a GeoJSON. Number, it's an integer. Object, that's the difference between object and a typed object is that the typed object has like child properties, and this object doesn't have. I can send anything. And just to be clear, so if I say, let's change this to Korea. I think it's like this, right? Korean one is that K? Let me put it bigger. Is that KRW or I don't know? Let me put like BRL. It's Brazilian reals. I can put like whatever in the object. I can put test. Oh, my bad. 1, 2, 3. The number I can put like 1, 2, 3. Here I can put 1, 2, 3 dot something. And the date time I can leave it this. The ID I can put any string. And in the equipo I can put also anything, or I can leave it like this. Doesn't have to be anything. So when I see what I'm publishing, you see that I published this. But one important thing that I wanted to be very clear for you, just because I selected a schema here or a type, it doesn't mean that it has to be this. Vantiq doesn't enforce the schema in the topic. I can put anything, I can put the other one again, and it's still gonna work. Or I can put maybe nothing, just put nothing, and Vantiq will also work. So this is not an enforcement. This is just a guidance. So that, for example, if I put again demo schema and save it, and now in my application, I'm creating, let's say another event stream. I'm gonna say it's coming from a topic, and I'm gonna use this topic, my demo schema. It will bring this for me. Why? Because now when I'm creating something new, for example, let me put a transformation here. This transformation will bring the another number, the date, the equipment, the ID, the location, the object, everything will be auto-populated for me. If I want to create something else, for example, I want to create a statistics. You will have this drop down for me that helps me to understand what am I receiving. So I could put, oh, I can put this into another number or into number, because these are numbers. The other things, the other objects are they're not real, they're not integer, so I cannot do it. So the sliding time window or double histogram I could use with some of them. This is just to give you an understanding of why do I select the schema type. If I don't put anything, if I clear the schema type, let me delete this, let me save it, add new event stream, then I put it again. If I select it doesn't select anything. So when I try to keep on building my application, let me put this bigger, better this way. So if I put again, let's put transformation. So when a transformation, he doesn't know anything. So Vantiq is not able to help me with the transformation. So Vantiq is not able to help me with the statistics. It's in the end. So I don't know. I have to remember. Oh, there's number. There's let's say another number, and I have to remember that. Oh, see, I misspelled here. I forgot an H, so it would break. So the schema helps us a lot when building the applications. And I'm not gonna save this, but it doesn't enforce. That's what is important for you guys to know. This is just a guidance. But what if I want to store data? So let's say that we're receiving this information of temperature in RPMS. So let me just delete this. Delete, yes. Delete, yes. So now I want to receive the temperature and the RPMS, and I want to store it. I just want to store the temperature and RPMS. What do I do? So let's say no, I have to create something. Sorry, let me create a topic. New topic. My topic RPMS schema. Okay. I'm just gonna bring it for another topic. Let's see if this guy works. It's complaining about the subscription. Let me see if temperature works. Yeah, I brought some, let's say, some issues from another namespace. Okay, I want to store this. How do I create this? So I can come here, create a type, new type, and I can put, let's say, RPMS. So my RPMS, if I choose standard, I can put a property. For example, I can call it ID. I can put another property called time. I can get another property, call it value. It's going to be an integer. Okay. So now let me connect it to my topic RPMS. So now I can store it. So I could put as many properties that I wanted. And in here, I can create some indexes so that I can easily find it later. And I could create natural keys. The natural keys are used to, based on indexes, are used to, it's like the primary key of a normal table. But as Vantiq already has a primary key in the background, we call it natural key so that you can create your own. So you know which one is the index that you created. For example, this key, this index is unique. I'm gonna call it the ID. And my natural key, I'm gonna call it the ID. Okay. And these are the basic properties. So general is just the name. I can put the permission level, the administration, what an administrator can do, what a user can do. Group by, it was used to be used a lot. Now we're not using it anymore. Properties is the properties that you define. You can also see the system properties as well. So as I said, Vantiq already creates an ID, and this is the primary key. You have some when it was created, who created it. If you can set it to not export whenever you're doing the project, group by, blah, blah, blah. There are many system properties. I'm not gonna bother with that. Indexes and natural key. And there's the advanced information on the types. This one, I think it's really, really cool. Let me just save this. So you can set for a type the maximum storage of that type. So you may say, oh, the maximum storage is gonna be 124,000. So this is the maximum storage available for this type. So you limit the amount of information that you're going to store. You can also limit the amount of objects. You're going to say, oh, I want to limit in 1,000. Let me put the other one like 1,000. Here's like 100,000, 100K or 100 megs. I think it's 100K, something close to 100K, and 1,000 objects. And now, whenever you fill up the type, Vantiq works delete all the previous, not the previous, like when you reach 1001, the first object that you store is going to be deleted. 1002, the second one will be deleted, so on and so forth. And you can also set, let's say, like time bombs or time limits, where you can say, oh, I want to limit it to 12 days, 12 hours, 12 milliseconds, 12 weeks, 12 years. You can limit the how long the data will be stored in Vantiq. And here you can also enable group and permission and access to the type. You can say if it's audited or not. And this is a new property that many of you may not understand, suppress rules. So when we were creating something here, and I'm gonna create a new one here, add event stream. It's gonna put like connected to a type. Oops, I'm gonna connect to this type. Connect it to the RPMS that I just created. I can listen to insert, update, or both type of events. And I'm gonna leave it as both. And whenever there's something happening here, let's put 12 minutes. I can suppress the rules. So if I suppress the rules, nothing would ever generate an event for me here in this type. But if I leave it like this, it will. If I insert something, and I'm gonna add a record here just for you guys to see. So I can put anything as my ID. I can put a time as right now, and I can put a value. So when I add this record, You should see an event here. How unlucky. Of course, I forgot to save my application. That's why it didn't do anything. Demo, my bad. Now let's add it again. Daytime, 25, value, save. There you go. Yeah, now you see a counter here. There's nothing here because I'm not publishing to my RPMS. So let me publish. If I publish, it will publish that. One thing that we can do, and you'll see in a minute, is, for example, I can link a task here. So I'm gonna transform. You see this transformation gonna receive an ID, an RPMS. There's one missing. Is the because it's still from the before. Let me cancel this. It still has the RPMS schema set. Let's put RPMS. Okay. Should see. No, it's still stuck with the on. I have to save it before. Anyway, it's value. I'm gonna say the ID is UID. So I can, this transformation allows me to create some components. I'm gonna keep this event RPMS and time. I'm gonna set it as now. It's another function. Okay, and I'm gonna save this. So I'm gonna save to type. Okay, and I'm gonna say that this type is the RPMS that we are talking about. And you can see this, there's an upsert. Upsert is a function that allows Vantiq to either insert or update. So instead of you having to create a query, say, hey, if this object exists where ID equals X, if it exists, update. If it doesn't exist, insert. Vantiq does it for you automatically. If you had provided, if you haven't provided a natural key, otherwise it will complain if you haven't provided a natural key. So I'm gonna save it. So now what I want to do is I want to show you. I'm gonna put the view task events here, and I want to put a view task event here. Let me just switch. Transformation here. New stream is here. So when I'm gonna send an ID, it will auto generate an ID from in the transformation. I can send anytime. It will also save us now. And instead of value, I put a RPMS. RPMS, I'm gonna put any number. So when I publish, you see the event coming here. Vantiq transformed this event for me. So you can see it created an ID for me. Now the event.value is actually equals event.rpms, and the time it's now. So it's the time of the Z is actually referring to Zulu time. It's Greenwich time. So in JSON, we are storing the Zulu time. In the UI, it's, in this case, we're also seeing the same thing. But if we look at the RPMS and see all the records, the time is 350. That's the time that we have in the system. So it auto converts to the time that we are based on the Zulu time. So Korea is 9 hours ahead or 8 hours ahead, never. It adjusts to you in the interface. The map, yeah, this one. And here it also generated for me. Let me just show you what was created. What was the event generated for me? So it generated this event for me. So if I were to undertype create a suppress rule. If I send something new, let's just put another number. If I send it again, it will run, it will store, but it will not generate the alert for me anymore, not generate any more events. This is important to know, especially because Vantiq is a event-driven architecture platform. So in this situation, whenever you are storing something in a database, in a type, you're also generating alerts or generating events of update, maybe an insert, maybe a delete. You're generating events on everything that you do in the platform. So if you're storing tons of data and maybe for nothing, you're generating a lot of stress in the system, and sometimes it's not useful. I'm just providing information on this. Let me see. Oh, sorry, not this one. Schema types, informed sources. I talked about sources yesterday. Oh, the schema types. I just like to talk about both types at once. One thing that I like, that it's good to highlight. So these types, they're basically like SQL tables or databases. But one thing that I like to highlight is this type of database, it is tuned, or it's better, it's a good performance for data streams, not to do analytics. So can Vantiq store data? Yes. Can Vantiq store data for a long period of time? Yes. Can Vantiq do a BI on top of that data? And the answer is yes, but it's not recommended for it. Vantiq's made to receive data, process data, and maybe store data or push it to some other system. Vantiq's not made to become a data lake, store data for long period of time and then keep querying it or do analytics on top of it. If you want to interrupt me to say anything, just let me know. You want me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop it for a second.
이제 사실 이제 타입이라고 하는 게 두 가지가 있거든요. 그래서 이제 스키마 타입이라고 하는 게 있고, 이제 스나드 타입이라고 하는 게 있는데, 제가 어제부터 계속 말씀드리지만, 벤틱이라고 하는 거는 이제 개발 플랫폼인데, 로코드나 이제 노코드 기반의 이제 개발 플랫폼이고, 이제 기존에 있는 이제 그런 이제 로코드 기반 플랫폼하고 약간 틀린 건 뭐냐면, 기존에 이제 로코드 기반 플랫폼들은 데이터베이스 기반의 전통적인 이제 개발 방법론에 따른 이제 로코드 기반 개발 방법론인데, 개발 플랫폼인데, 벤틱은 대용량 데이터를 이제 처리하는 이제 이벤트 드리븐 기반의 EDA 기반의 이제 로코드 플랫폼이다라고 말씀을 드렸잖아요. 결국은 이제 그 얘기는 이제 계속 말씀을 좀 돌려 말하면 전통적인 방식, 그러니까 데이터를 처리한 다음에 저장하고 다시 또 그걸 불러와 가지고서 뭔가 행위를 하는 그런 패턴으로 해서는 대용량 데이터가 들어올 때 처리할 수가 없기 때문에 벤틱은 데이터가 이제 흘러가는 거고, 그 흘러가는 데이터를 인지해 가지고서 행위를 하는 거거든요. 그래서 실제 벤틱이 동작하는 데는 데이터베이스가 있긴 있어요. 안에 이제 몽고DB를 쓰고 있는데, 이 몽고DB는 사실은 벤틱이 돌아가기 위해서 필요한 데이터베이스인 거지, 여러분들이 개발하는 어플리케이션을 위한 데이터베이스는 사실 아니거든요. 원래 우리가 기존에도 데이터베이스 기반의 어플리케이션을 개발한다고 하면 그걸 위해서 데이터베이스를 별도로 구축을 하잖아요. 예를 들면 뭐 오라클이라든지 SQL이라든지 그런 걸 별도로 구성해 가지고 하는 것처럼 벤틱도 사실은 그렇게 해야 되는 거고, 이 벤틱 안에 있는 몽고DB는 그런 이벤트 기반의 대용량 데이터를 처리하기 위해서 필요한 정보들을 저장하고, 또는 아까 얘기했던 그런 이제 스키마 정보란다. 카탈로그 정보나 그런 것들을 저장하기 위해서 사용하는 데이터베이스예요. 그래서 그렇게 이해하시면 될 것 같고, 그래서 기본적으로 벤틱은 사용하는 거는 이제 타입이라고 하는 게 결국은 이제 우리가 일반적으로 정의하는 데이터베이스의 테이블 구조 같은 것도 정의하는 거 똑같은데 두 가지가 있는데 하나는 스키마 타입, 하나는 스탠다드 타입이 있는데 그 스키마 타입은 아까 말씀드린 것처럼 이 친구가 얘기한 것처럼 그 구조만 정해 놓는 거예요. 그 옛날 관점으로 설명을 드리면 테이블의 구조를 정해 놓는 거예요. 왜냐하면 아까 얘기한 것처럼 이제 어떤 걸 지정해 가지고서 데이터가 이제 스트리밍 형태로 쭉 들어와요. 그러면 그걸 알아들으려면 그 들어오는 그 데이터 스트림의 구조가 어떤지를 알아야지 이해를 할 거잖아요. 그러니까 이제 그 데이터 들어 스트림의 구조가 옛날에 이제 레가시를 바라보게 되면 테이블 구조처럼 아이디, 템프, 데이트 그런 식으로 정의해 놓으면 이제 데이터 스트림 쭉 들어올 때 그 스키마 형태로 인지하고서 쭉 메모리 상에서 흘러가는 데이터들을 파악하는 거예요. 그럴 때 이제 사용하는 게 이제 그 스키마 타입이라고 하는 거고, 그럼 스키마 타입은 흘러가는 데이터를 파악하는 프로세스하기 위해서 정의하는 타입인 거고, 그 다음에 내가 그런 데이터를 처리하는 데 있어 가지고서 뭔가 가공해야 될 상황도 발생할 수가 있잖아요. 그러면 그런 것들은 그 일부는 내가 저장하고 있으면서 바로바로 처리하면 더 빠를 수가 있거든요. 예를 들면 이제 이 친구가 이제 데모로 계속 예를 든 거는 그 펌프잖아요. 그렇죠? 펌프면은 아마 공장에 있는 펌프라고 가령 예를 들면은 공장의 위치 같은 것들은 계속 변하는 게 아니라 센서 데이터처럼 계속 변하는 게 아니라 고정되어 있을 거잖아요. 그러면 그런 공장 정보는 이제 스탠다드 타입으로 아주 저장을 해놓는 거예요. 그래서 얘가 실시간으로 펌프의 온도나 회전 속도 데이터가 쭉 들어올 때 그거 두 개를 머지해 가지고서 펌프 아이디가 1번일 때는 공장 위치는 서울이고 펌프 아이디가 2번일 때는 공장 위치가 인천이고 그거를 이제 그 펌프 센서에 있는 온도나 속도 값은 실시간으로 흘러가는 거고 공장의 위치 1번 펌프 1번은 서울, 펌프 2번은 인천이라고 하는 것은 이 벤티 간의 데이터베이스에 저장하고 있다가 실시간으로 매칭해가지고서 그걸로 이제 또 다른 정보를 만들어내는 거죠. 그럴 때 사용하라고 만들어 놓은 게 이제 스탠다드 타입이라고 하는 거예요. 그래서 이 스탠다드 타입 사실은 영구적으로 계속 보관하는 건 아니고 앞에 세팅한 거 보신 것처럼 그, 그 기간을 두거나 사이즈를 정해가지고서 한정적으로 사용하라고 얘기 많이 하는 거예요. 예.
So you saw types, you saw topics. We already discussed yesterday about sources. I'm just gonna do a recap. So sources are outside external systems that send data to Vantiq. So, or we can also send it to outside systems as well. So here, out of the box, Vantiq allows us to create a connection to sources like AMQP, Kafka, MQTT, Google Pub subscribe. These four types of sources that allows us to publish and subscribe messages from queuing-like systems. So MQTT, Kafka, Google Cloud Pub Sub, and MQP, they work as a topic, but externally. Chatbot, it allows us to use Microsoft chatbots or bot framework actually to communicate not only with chatbots but also with other people. So the chatbot framework allows us to create like a channel or a message state where we can publish a message to this channel, and then people on the other side of the channel can read it. Let me just show you, because this is really powerful and many times people don't see this. Let me see Microsoft. Let me go to my portal, azure.com. I can show you my subscription. It's probably easier to see it. No. Okay. So in here, if you put like bot framework, bot, I think it's framework. Yeah, web app bot. When you create this web app bot, you have the channels. It's gonna take forever. Let me see if I have one ready. All resources. Did I delete it? Switch directory. Okay, yes. So this one, I have, for example, a chatbot. This chatbot, it's better to show it this way. It has the channels. Channels. Where are my channels? I think it's this one. Channels, here it is, channels. So these channels allows Vantiq to connect with several other it's not end user, how do you call it? Endpoints. So this direct line allows us to connect directly to another system. The email would allow us to, as far as I know, send email also through to the chatbot connection. Maybe read, I haven't really gone into this, so you could try to develop this. Microsoft Teams allows us to integrate with Teams, so you can send and receive messages from a team channel or a team user. Same thing for Skype. Used to be Skype for Business Teams, but now it's just Teams. Slack, we can also connect and talk to Slack. So if you send a message in Slack, we could receive, we could publish. Twilio, so Twilio is a web interface to connect with SMS, with the SMS service. So you could send an SMS message, you could receive an SMS message, and everything would be created inside of a chat session. So session was the naming that I was looking for. The bot framework allows you to create sessions with these different channels, so you could integrate with them. And it also have, for example, Alexa, Kik, Line, Telegram, Facebook, GroupMe, telephony. You can also allow you with the Twilio, you can connect with telephony. I'm not sure what this is. In direct line speech, if I'm not mistaken, you can send an audio file. Microsoft will translate that into text and then send this text to the other endpoint. Let me see. Yeah, this is what I wanted to show you about the chatbot. Mock, as I said before, yesterday, you can simulate using a procedure. You can simulate what is the publish procedure, how it's going to publish data back to you, how you're going to query some data for you. So this is just to simulate an endpoint, useful to development. Push notification, when you want to push notification to a mobile phone, an iOS or an Android, or if you have the Vantiq mobile application, you can also send it directly to this application. I just want to show you right now this quickly. So here, this is my phone. So in my phone, you can see we have a Vantiq app. So this Vantiq app allows you to receive and send or interact with Vantiq. You have some, for example, some pages. You have some inbox where you can receive notifications. You have a chat where you can create chat rooms. You can include people. So let me just to give you an idea. Start. It will generate a chat room for me. It's taking too long. Anyway, it finally created. So I can include people manually. It will find who are the users connected, and I can select them, or I can do it programmatically. It's not that I don't have to do it manually. I can do it. Vantiq can do this for me. Uploads is everything that's going to be stored for it to upload when it doesn't have connection. And the pages that you have here, you can have these pages in an offline mode as well. So even if there's no connection, Vantiq could have these pages allowing a user to interact with the system, but still in offline. So everything that the user would do would be stored here in the phone, if we submit something back to the system, it would be stored in the upload folder. And in the mobile phone, you also have the namespaces that you can connect. So you probably do this in the lab. So this is what I wanted to show. And I'm gonna drill a little bit into the app builder today. So I'm gonna talk about the app builder. Let me just talk briefly about, let me see if I'm missing something on the sources and topics before I drill in it. Because application builder, I may leave it to start tomorrow. So we talked about sources, configuration, analytics, topics. We talked about this, especially in the first day when Shangan talked about Vantiq. Topics allows us to decouple the application. Oh, this is important. So topic naming. So all the topics, when we start, it has to start with the slash. It doesn't have to have like subdirectories or subtopics, but it has to start with the slash. So I usually create like a topic and subtopic. The slash type, slash system, slash property, they're reserved by the system. So you cannot use them. You're gonna be, you're gonna be blocked. Slash notifications is also used by the system in the collaborations, but you can still use them if you wanna create your own slash notification slash something. But if you conflict with any of the collaborations, you may see your collaborations failing because of that. So we usually recommend that you don't use these slash notifications. Leave it only for the system. We saw how to create topics many times. To test, we saw this as well. This is good advice. So remember, topics are asynchronous, lightweight. Everything is run in the internal bus. Topics are a great way for you to decouple your project. So in between the sense, the analyze, and the act layers. And important thing, topics can be declared or undeclared. What does it mean? So let me show you quickly. So here, these are the topics that I have in my project right now. So I can come here and create a new topic. I'm gonna call it my topic slash demo 2. Put some description. I'm not even gonna put any type, master type. I created my topic demo 2. But in my application, I can come here and say I want to add a new event stream, and I want to say that I'm gonna monitor a topic. I'm not gonna monitor it as slash new slash topic. So this topic doesn't exist in this drop down. I'm writing it right here. I'll click OK, save. Vantiq will not create this topic for me, but it will show me this topic that I just created. If you look at this topic, you can see there's a convert button. This convert means that I can transform this topic from a dynamic topic to a static topic, so to a created topic. So I can put some description and I can save it now. From here, I could publish it to a catalog. Let's say that I'm gonna publish this as a demo slash topic. Schema, I'm gonna put a RPMS, not RPMS, I'm gonna put demo schema. I'm gonna put a description. Okay, okay, okay. So now I am publishing this topic to the catalog. I could subscribe to this event. I can remove the publisher. So there's some things I can do here. if I want to see something that's happening in my application, in my platform, I'm gonna switch a namespace quickly. If I want to see something that I'm doing in my platform, I can also use a subscription. So subscriptions are really useful to see what's going on in some place in your application. So I'm gonna put just call it a subscription, and I can see if there's happening an insert, an update, a delete on a type. I can see if a message is being published to a topic, if a message is arriving on a source, or if there's a specific event in a specific topic. So let's just take a look at insert. I could see, for example, if there's any inserts in this table. I could select what are the properties that I want to see. So if I click OK, we're gonna see there were four inserts in this. I forgot to select what are the data. I could see that. If I want to create a new subscription, so two. Now I'm gonna see an update in Equipo. This time I'm gonna select some properties. I just want to see these three properties. Okay. So now I can see what was updated. I can click on it and I can see the whole message. Again, I can create a new subscription. And I can see what are the messages being published in the topic, let's say stream/temp. So this is very used for us, especially when we are debugging. We want to see what is it that we're receiving, how is it arriving, what do we have to change. So here's a good way to do it. So do you want to, okay. Okay, just to finish, just all right, so this is what I wanted to talk about for today. Tomorrow I'm gonna talk about some more specifics on the application builder, application builder, and in the language that we call Veil. So we're gonna talk about the procedures, the rules, select, and now I'm gonna leave you with Shangan. He's gonna talk a little bit about about today and some next steps for tomorrow. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
오늘은 그 이제 IDE 환경에 대해서 주로 이제 설명을 드렸는데, 그 IDE라고 하는 결국 이제 개발자들이 이제 어플리케이션 개발한 환경에 대해서 이제 설명을 드린 거고요. 보면은 이제 우리가 대부분 이제 보면 앱 빌더라고 하는 거 안에서 이제 드래그 앤 드롭 해가지고서 이제 패턴을 정의해가지고서 쭉쭉 나가게 되는데, 그 보통 이제 항목이나 컴포넌트들을 이제 추가하려면, 예를 들면 토픽이 됐던 타입이 됐던, 대부분 추가하려면 이제 화면에 제일 위에 있는 애드 버튼 눌러가지고서 거기서 이제 룰도 만들고 토픽도 만들고 타입도 만들고 그렇게 할 수도 있지만, 또 이 친구 하는 거 보면 아까 앱 빌더에서 그 뭐 이벤트 하나 갖다 놓고서 거기서 바로 그냥 타입을 추가하거나 또는 토픽을 추가하거나 그런 것들이 되잖아요. 그러니까 그 순서가 내가 일하기 편하게 뭐 어디서부터인지 시작할 수 있고, 거기서부터 바로 이제 필요한 게 있으면 바로바로 또 만들어 가지고서 바로 이제 계속 만들어 나갈 수 있는 그런 것들이 이제 벤팅의 장점인 것 같고요. 그 다음에 아까 제가 설명드린 하나 빠뜨린 게 있는데, 아까 이제 카탈로그 만들면서 이제 그 액세스 토큰 카페 가지고 이제 붙여놓고 한 거 있었잖아요. 그때 이제 한 가지 설명 빠뜨린 게 뭐냐면, 근데 거기 이제 카탈로그든 뭐가 됐든 이제 그 URI 같은 정보를 넣을 때 이 친구 넣는 거 보면은 최상위에 있는 루트 URL까지만 넣잖아요. 그러니까 보니까 벤틱 서버인 internal.bentic.com까지만 딱 넣고 그 이에 안 넣잖아요. 내가 어디인지 모르는데 내가 저번에 한번 궁금해서 물어봤더니 그 아까 카피한 토큰 있잖아요. 자기 토큰 정보. 그 토큰 정보 안에 이 네임스페이스라든지 이 사용자라든지 정보가 다 포함이 되어 있는 거래요. 그래서 그 토큰을 던지게 되면 그거를 이제 벤틱이 렌더링 해가지고서 아 얘는 어디로 가야 된다는 걸 알려줘서 시스템이 이제 움직이게끔 그렇게 동작한다 그러더라고요. 그래서 실제 그 토큰 정보가 되게 중요하다는 거고 그래서 아까 말씀드린 것처럼 그 카탈로그나 그런 거 만들 때 토큰 정보 같은 것들 카페에서 넣는 것들 잊지 말고 하셔야지 또 나중에 그 참조할 때 그게 좀 잘못되면 또 이게 참조가 안 되거든요. 그런 것도 좀 유의하시면 될 것 같고 그 오늘은 그 아이디 환경에 대해서 그 배운 게 되게 중요했고 그다음에 두 번째는 아까 말씀드린 것처럼 그 벤틱은 타입이 두 가지가 있다고 말씀드렸잖아요. 그래서 스키마 타입하고 스나드 타입이 있어서 이 두 개를 혼용하지 말고 그 내 판단에 의해 가지고서 아 이거는 내가 그냥 인지해 가지고 흘러들이면서 프로세싱할 데이터라고 하면은 거기에는 이제 스키마 타입으로 정의해 가지고서 처리하는 게 맞는 거고 꼭 반드시 내가 저장해야 될 정보들이 있다라고 하면 그때는 이제 그 스탠다드 타입을 사용해서 이제 처리하면 되는 거고 하지만 아까 이 친구도 얘기한 것처럼 장기적으로 내가 계속 데이터를 저장해 가지고 뭔가 리포팅을 만들거나 해야 된다고 하면 벤틱에 있는 이 몽고DB를 쓰는 게 아니라 그 기존에 이제 우리가 데이터베이스 기반의 어플리케이션 만든 것처럼 내가 별도의 데이터베이스를 하나 생성해 가지고서 거기에 거기에 이제 벤틱이랑 인터페이스 해가지고서 아까 그 벤틱은 외부 시스템하고 연결할 때는 그 소스라는 걸 통해서 간다고 말씀드렸잖아요. 소스에서 이제 DB라고 하면은 이제 뭐 JDBC나 그런 거를 매칭해가지고서 DB 연결 만들어가지고 거기다가 이제 내가 그 리포팅을 위한 데이터 같은 것들을 이제 뭐 예를 들면은 뭐 1단위로 이관을 시키든지 아니면 뭐 시간 단위로 이관을 시키든지 또는 뭐 들어오는 걸로부터 얼마 이후 되면 자동으로 이관을 한다든지 뭐 그런 식으로 해가지고서 데이터를 계속 이제 저장하는 게 이제 바른 접근이라고 생각이 듭니다. 그 오늘은 그 아까 이 친구 얘기한 것처럼 여기까지 진행을 하고요. 그 어제 메일에도 써서 드렸지만 계속해서 이제 랩을 해보시는 게 되게 중요하니까 이제 세션 끝나고 나서 랩 계속 좀 진행을 좀 해보시고 그 다음에 오늘 세션도 제가 이거 이제 녹화하고 있는 거 이제 저장한 다음에 유튜브에 올려놓을 거거든요. 그래서 혹시 이제 필요하시면 보시고 또 말씀드린 것처럼 이 녹화 동영상도 저희가 그 교육이 끝난 다음에 편집해서 올릴 거지만 그 한 2, 3주 후에 그 저희 본사에서 만든 그 공식 교육 자료에 그 한글 자막 들어간 것도 유튜브에 올리게 될 거니까 그것도 한번 참고해 주시면 좋을 것 같습니다. 그럼 이걸로 오늘 그 교육은 마치고요. 교육 끝내고 나서 아까 말씀드린 것처럼 그 동영상 정보나 그런 것들은 다시 그 메일로 회신 드리도록 하겠습니다. 그럼 다 모두 수고하셨습니다.